What's going on, Moto fans? Transmitting from the future free state of Greater Idaho, I am the one-armed madman. Let's talk San Francisco Supercross. We have got round 2 in the books, and oh boy, was that a mudder. That was some of the dirtiest, stickiest, nastiest mud I have ever seen. Even in comparison to the first San Francisco Supercross, I believe, that I went to. I think it was the first one, I don't know, in the modern era, let's say. Man, that one was a mudder, but it was a different kind of mud. The track was wet. It was full of water. One of the craziest things I think I've ever seen on a Supercross track was during that race, the ruts were so deep that Ricky could not keep his feet on the pegs going up the lip of the triple, hucks the thing, and then has to get his feet back on the pegs midair. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. That being said, this race sucked. It was boring. It sucked. I like that they're bringing the series back to San Francisco. Oakland sucks. I mean, the new 49ers stadium looks nice, but it's in Santa Clara. You got to be in the city. The city's where it's at. But man, what a nightmare. The pits, the washing the bikes, ugh, just a joke. What a joke. I don't know why they've got it on the series this early. It's crazy. You know it's going to be a mutter. And like, I like a mutter. I like at least one mutter, but I like how last year we had it towards the end of the series, man. It gives us time to figure out what's going on, seeing who's going to be what, who's going to do what. And, now we've just got a big monkey wrench thrown into the points, but hey, at least it's going to be exciting. So what did we learn from San Francisco Supercross? Not much. I don't think we really learned anything at all that we didn't already know. The things that we already knew were the strongest guys won. And we already know who the strongest guys are. Chase Sexton looks like he could be playing free safety right now in the NFL. The dude is an animal. And that's what it took on a track like that. These smaller guys, I mean, these 450s are heavy. Jet's a small kid. The thing gets caked up. It's 250 pounds. Good luck. You need a guy with some muscle on him, like Chase, like Eli, like Kenny. Those dudes are badasses. They're fucking jacked, and they are ready for shit like this. Even Shane McElrath. Shane McElrath's a big dude. He's a tough-looking dude, and he deserved the spot he got. That was a great race for him. I don't know that, he'll ever have a finish that high in the 450 class again. So, good on him for toughing it out and just being a badass. That's what it took to win a race like that. And that's what we got. We got Chase. I was not fired up on his move to KTM. I don't think that bike is anywhere near as good as the Honda that he was on. And it was really interesting in that interview that Dazzy did the other day, where he basically threw shade at Chase, saying that they didn't develop the bike at all. And he had no idea what he's doing. In the beginning, watching him ride, you would think that bike has got to be pretty good for him to be able to ride it that way. He's got to be happy on what he's got right now. But we'll see next weekend. If I'm him, I am pretty pissed off that those boys took over Team Honda, basically pushing him out. I don't think he was pushed out. I think he kind of pushed himself out, but I could see how he would think that he's being pushed out. And then to have the guy go on national TV and say that he doesn't know how to set up a bike, I'm pissed. I am pissed. And hey, if it's motivation that you need, there's some good motivation for you right there. You don't know how to set up a bike? Watch me set up this bike better than any of these guys have on Team KTM, and watch me go out and smoke your boys. That's what I'm thinking if I'm him. And we'll see. He sounded pretty fired up. It sounded like he was ready for a dry night, and he's got that bike dialed. I will be very happy to see that. I want to see him do well. I think that he's got this monkey on his back, that he was gifted a championship, and it's going to be a tough run to actually prove that number 1 plate belongs on his bike. So I'm jacked to see it. Eli, Eli's a badass. He's a big, strong dude. He tractors around the track, and that's the type of track, that's the type of guy who's going to win on a night like. He didn't win. He got second, but the one thing I do think we learned about Eli in that race is that his foot is fine. If he was having any Achilles issues, we would not have seen him on the podium. There's just no way. In a race like that, you are completely destroyed. If there was a problem with that Achilles, the dude wouldn't have been able to stand on the podium. And he seemed like he was in a pretty decent mood. So I am excited to see what he does next weekend. Let's go 250s here for a second. Man, 250s. That was about what I expected to happen. I thought that RJ was going to do a bit better than he did. That being said, like, Smith is a man amongst boys. The dude's got kids, and he's racing against kids. He's got a full beard. Like, you put Levi next to him, and it's like, oh, is this your uncle? Is this your Uncle Smith here? Like, what are we doing here? The guy is a man amongst boys. So I'm not surprised that he was able to win that race. I would have been a bit disappointed if he didn't, to be honest. What do we got next? Levi. Levi looked good. Levi, man, he's a weird-looking kid. He does not look like an athlete. And I think he's, like, watching his vlogs, or maybe I'm seeing him on Chase's vlogs. I don't remember. I watch a lot of vlogs. The kid's in great shape for somebody who does not have the body of an athlete. So I think that really showed well for him. I think that he's really agreeing with that bike. And I think it shows that the kid is strong. He's been putting in the work, and he's ready to go out there and win. So I was really not surprised, but really, like, excited to see that. I think he's taken, like, a big progression in the offseason. I think the kid's coming out, and I think we're going to see at least a couple of wins from him this year. Third place, Garrett Marchbanks, the man-child. That's what you need for this race. The kid's a badass. He's big, strong, and he's ready to go out there and smoke those boys. Great on him. It was a bummer to see him go past Phil, because I really wanted to see Phil get on the podium here for the last time. Is it possible that Phil can get another podium? Sure. Anything's possible. Is it probable? Absolutely not. Like, that was his shot. And I was so bummed to see Garrett go past him. But then again, to see Garrett on the podium just pumped up, it's good to see. It's also good to see that, like, they've got their bikes dialed. That Club MX bike is doing far better than it has any right to do. Like, a 250 privateer class, you should have zero chance against these Pro Circuit Cowies and these Star Yamahas. But that bike, not only did it hold up through the mud, but you got two of them in third and fourth. That should be your advertisement for the next year. Our bikes hold up. Not only do they hold up, but they hold up front. What a cool race for them. I can't imagine how stoked they all were after the end of the thing. If I'm them, I'm out partying in the red light district. But, that's just me. A couple of the guys that I thought were going to do better were Hunter and RJ. Hunter, I think he had something to prove. I was really jacked on him in practice. He looked good. He had decent times. And I thought he was ready to come out and show that last week was a fluke and that he was here to win. I thought that him being an MXGP guy, that he would have a little bit more experience in the mud than at least his brother. So I planned on him doing better than his brother, even though, they kind of finished, I guess it was 9th and 10th. So they were right there. But I did expect Hunter to do a little bit better. I also expect RJ to have a better race. But, for a guy who has had some terrible seasons, a 9th is not the worst that he could have done. It could have been a whole lot worse for him. And now he's in a decent title position. Like, he's not far behind the points. And I think he's still got momentum. I don't think that did anything to kill his confidence or his momentum. I plan on him showing up in San Diego to win, and I think he probably will. The last guy I'm going to talk about here is Joe. Joe just, again, folding under the pressure, folding under the weight. The kid looks like he weighs 90 pounds soaking wet. Maybe that mud was just too much for him, and he couldn't stand up, get back on the bike. It's not surprising. Like, this is what Joe does. He fucks it up as early as he can, as bad as he can. And then once the pressure's off, he's ready to go out and win some races. So I wouldn't be surprised if Joe comes out and wins in San Diego. I don't expect it, but I would not be surprised. All right. That's it for now. Until next time, keep it on the rev limiter.